Hello, my name is Claire Harrison McCartney and I'm here to tell my story. Is that alright? Oh, it's only just me in the room. Okay, so I feel like I need to tell my story, right, regarding Bonergate, regarding Shrivelled Boner Gate, regarding she thinks everyone wants to shag her gate, David Walliams gate, right, let's just call it David Walliams. Okay, so a couple of days ago I woke up to this. I don't buy a paper though, but a lot of people, a friend said, oh, I bought a paper because you were on the front. Brilliant. So I'm on the front dressed as Dot Cotton. Bless June Brown's heart. She passed away, so I don't impersonate her anymore out of respect. So yeah, I'm on there looking like Les Dawson has shagged RuPaul's Drag Race or had a drink in there. That's what I look like. Having this fake cigarette, and David Walliams is looking shocked, and I'm standing next to Eat Bum Coco. Look, Eat Bum Coco with Matt Hancock's face. Now, when you look at the madness of this world and what's going on, that pretty much says it all, really. And I've had to detach myself a little bit because I get really severe migraines, and I'm on like a 16-day migraine. It's sort of passing now, but I've taken steroids for it because they take down the inflammation. They're going to make my willy shrink. So David Walliams, I don't know, he might fancy me now, mightn't he? That boner under the judge's desk might reappear. You never know. So I just want to talk about my side of the story, okay? David Walliams is in deep doo-doo after a Britain's Got Talent comic he insulted got her own back in style. Now, I'll tell you my side of the story. This is what happens, right? So I got a phone call saying, hello, I'm from the media. So I didn't question it. I just said, yeah. And they said, tomorrow we're going to release a story regarding David Walliams and it's going to involve you. Okay, fine. Phone down. Can't trace the number. Right? So I read in The Guardian, it was The Guardian that the transcript was leaked to, right? So I read in The Guardian about it and I'm like, oh, okay. So when I was doing my audition, I did hear him say, oh, come on, you're quite close to the judges. Palladium's not as massive as you think. It looks huge on telly. And you stand there and you're like, oh, is this it? It's hardly Wembley, it's just a Palladium. It's like 250,000 people. It's not, you know, and the judges are close and you can see them. You can look at Simon's face. Like I did. I couldn't stop looking at his face. I talk about it in my stand-up. Anyway, not my 10-minute stand-up. I talked about it in my show this year. And yeah. Anyway, so I've heard him. I was on that stage for 15 minutes. It's your 15 minutes of fame, sadly. Not the fame I wanted. And he did say at the end, because I was so exhausted after my audition, I just wanted to go home. Right, so before the pandemic, you get there, they tell you to get there really early, and you don't go on stage till 12 hours later. So I got there at what? I don't know, 10, 11. And I went on at 10:30 at night on that stage, right? You probably don't care. But anyone thinking about doing Britain's Got Talent, that's what it was like before the pandemic. I was shut in a room, right, with Faith, and she got the golden buzzer, amazing young girl who sang Rolling on the River, that Tina Turner number. She got the golden buzzer, sat in the room with her family. They were beautiful people, really nice, welcoming, lovely energy. Alan Finnegan, love Alan Finnegan, the Liverpudlian comedian, loved him. He was really pleasant, you know. So like, you sort of pass the time, you're tired, you're knackered, you're hungry, because there's nowhere to get food. So I went on stage and I just thought, oh God, sod it. I'm tired. But you know what? I've been waiting all day. You go on there, right? And it's a massive buzz, like a huge buzz, because everyone's like, yeah. And you've done little gigs all your life, you know, in Edinburgh. Can I just say this though? I've done stand-up, right? Before, I don't really say I'm an impressionist, because they're not that good. And I've done impressions, you know, at Camden Fringe. I did Backenders, you know, which was an EastEnders parody in Edinburgh Fringe in 2019, and Camden Fringe. I do a little bit here and there. I did Camden Fringe last year with Sarah Louise Aston. I played like Cher and Kim Woodburn. Oh, you chicken. You know, it's easy. Like Stacey Solomon. Oh my god, everyone can do Stacey. Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, I did Stacey at the Palladium. They never showed it though. They just wanted to make me look awful, because that's why I was there. Because they wouldn't let me go on as a stand-up, as a female stand-up 3 years ago. No, I do stand-up comedy. I've been doing it for years. They wouldn't let me go on as a stand-up. I'm like, why? What's wrong with you? You have men on there all the time. No, they didn't want me as a stand-up. And if you look, there are very rarely female stand-ups on there. So they wanted me to go on to make a fool of myself and do shy impressions. So I did, right? Simon, he was like quite nice to me at the beginning. Not that he never wasn't nice to me. He never said anything horrible. He just, you know, Simon, isn't he? He gives constructive criticism. I wasn't offended or anything. We done the whole kind of, oh, what do you do? Where are you from? All that. I was in an advert. Yes, I was in an advert. Narrated by Stephen Merchant a couple of years ago. Talked about that. And David said, oh, it's about... I've been talking for 8 minutes. You're joking. Oh, he said, oh, yeah, comfort, you know, comfort, you put it in your washing. And then that was in the Daily Star and the Metro, that Simon didn't know what comfort was. But that was leading up to the joke, but I got buzzed, and it was like Dot Cotton talking about Nick, who drowned in the laundrette and he died in comfort. But I'd been buzzed before that. Anyway, it's a rubbish joke, and I'm glad he didn't get to say it. They probably wouldn't have aired it anyway, because they only air the worst bits to make you look rubbish. So, yeah, Amanda was like, what's your worst gig? And I was like, in Edinburgh, this happened, that happened. Right, okay, fine. Amanda was nice. And then it come to David, and he went, are you single? In that voice that follows along. I can't do him, because he's a bloke. And I went, like, I'm from Essex, right? And we have a bit of a laugh. So I just went, why are you asking? That's what we say, don't we? Why are you asking? And I said, actually, because he said, have you got kids? And I thought, hang on a minute. So I'm just looking at my party, and I've been woganised. Have you got kids? And I was like, what's that got to do with anything? Like, what's that got to do with anything? Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I've got kids. I haven't actually, right? And I didn't say why you're offering there, because I don't, you know, didn't want kids, especially not with him. So yeah, I just thought, well, what's it got to do with you? What's that got to do with your talent, like your relationship status, and whether you've got offspring? Why? I don't get why, right? You should just go on and do your thing. Anyway, so and I just said, actually, I'm a feminist, David. And he didn't really like that. His face was like, and I thought, well, you know, I am. And Alicia and Amanda thought it was hilarious because they would, and I was back chatting him a bit. And he didn't really like it. You know, like you get people who think they're the best at what they do and they're the king of the castle, and they don't like the back chat. So we didn't really like the back chat, right? Tough. Don't ask me about all my status. You know, I'm gonna tell you, right? And so then I got on with it. I don't know, oh my God, that didn't get showed. What other one? I don't think they showed Cher or Kim Woodburn. They just showed the rubbish ones. And I was like, it was 4 buzzers, and I just thought, oh, for God's sake, I just want to go home, right? I'm really tired now. I've done what you asked me to do. I just want to go home, right? So I got all the feedback, and it was like, yeah. And do you know what? When you've been buzzed like that, you just want to go home. Like when you're at the, if you do a gong show, right, you don't have 4 people in front of you. Mostly have got weird faces because of surgery and enhancements, and you just can't stop looking at them going, you don't get that at a gong show, like feedback. That kind of don't happen. You just get gonged off and you go. And you have a drink and just chat, or you go home, right? They love it. They love giving you criticism. And you're like, yeah. And I felt like I was about 13 at school, and they think they're better than you. That's the thing. So I took it. Alicia's really lovely, by the way. I love Alicia Dixon. She's a very nice woman, right? I really warmed to her. The rest, no thanks. Anyway, so David started giving it the, I'm school teacher, I'm better than you, blah, blah, go. And he was just going on and on and on. And right, I can be like that. I can have a bit of an attitude, right? Because I'm working class. And when I've had enough, I've had enough, right? And I thought, I've given you what you wanted. You've humiliated me. I don't really care, because I haven't got much of an ego, right? Because I just think you should just get over yourself. So I didn't really care, to be honest, because I had nothing to lose. And so what? What? You're born, you die. Do you know what I mean? You live in a council flat, which you hate your life. So that kind of actually brought a bit of drama to my life, and it was a bit of a laugh, right? Because the Palladium, do you know what I mean? Like, I loved it. So I was embracing more of that, you know, the Palladium, the audience were amazing. And those judges, oh God. If it was without the judges, it would have been probably a marvellous gig. But they're there, aren't they? And they're doing their job. So he started going, blah, blah, blah. And I was going, I just want to go home. And he didn't like it. And I heard him go, oh, fuck off. And I was like, did I really just hear that? Do you know what I mean? I'm looking around thinking, they want me to react. They want me to react and storm off so it gives them footage, right? And I thought, no, I'm going to hold my dignity here, my integrity here. I'm not going to give them that, because the audience are on my side. And I'm like loving them, going, yeah. But they weren't showing all that, were they? So I was thinking, he wants a row with me. And I was thinking, come on in. Look at my face. I just changed up. Come on in. You come on in. And deep down inside, I was like, he just said that to me. He's just said, oh, fuck off. And he's mumbling. And then when I read those words in The Guardian, I was like, oh my God, that's what he was mumbling. It's like, oh no, she's like that girl that thinks you want to fuck her but you don't. And I thought, that's the words he was mumbling. I could hear him freaking mumbling. I just went bye and waved and walked off and laughed. And I left with dignity. I remember feeling so deflated and I was just like, I'm going home. And the crew stole my suitcase. I had a suitcase with wigs and stuff in it. And all my stuff, like, you know, all my stuff and my coat, I was there on my own. I like to do things on my own. I don't like to drag other people into auditions with me. You know, I do a lot of acting auditions. I do a lot of stand-up. I'd rather just do it on my own, get in, get out, right? So they'd hidden my suitcase and they saw me stressing, trying to find my suitcase. I was tired, hungry, I'd just been buzzed off. I just wanted to go home. I was like, I just want to get on that tube to Epping. I just want to go, right? Just let me go. And I finally found it and I just stormed off. And one of the crew was chasing me down the road and just going, no, don't go. I was like, I've given you everything. I just want to go home. I just feel negative from just pure negativity. I just want to go home, right? So they paid for a car for me and that's the least they could have done for what they put me through. And I just come home, cuddled my cat, went asleep, and I felt low for months after that. And the reason was because I got trolled really bad all over. It was shit. I'm not saying it wasn't shit. It was shit. It's a shit audition. I was like signed up to do a rubbish audition. That's what they did. So I mean, if you look at it as well, it's like they portrayed me to be really confident. What's wrong with being confident? Whoa. That song, I just sang that really out of key because I've never sang that before ever because I've got no reason to. And then they had me all like spinning around and I'm like, what is this? That confident thing to then cut you down. I don't get them, right? It's like they knew that all this was going to happen anyway 3 years ago. Right. So yeah, I was low for ages and I trolling on your Harlow, my hometown, people giving me shit, you know, like sad losers sitting there like slagging me off. And I'm like, what? I went in my chip shop, right? My local chippy, who I liked, and one of them went, you failed. You fell over. I didn't never. By the way, watch that footage. I never fell over. I never fell over on stage. I just couldn't walk properly in them shoes. I wouldn't be an amazing person on RuPaul's Drag Race to teach people how to walk in shoes because I can't do it myself. Yeah. So I was low for like ages and it's taken me quite a few years actually to pick myself up out of that. But I did pick myself up and I did Edinburgh Fringe again and I did, you know, what I need to do again. And I did like Alicia Dixon, I must admit. Anyway, so let's turn to page 4. Oh, I'm going really, I can go really deep into this, by the way. So now, in your dreams creep. I never said in your dreams creep, by the way. They love putting words in your mouth. Oh, I've been organised again. Okay, David Walliams is branded a vile man by a Britain's Got Talent contestant who claimed he mocked her for flirting at an audition. Yeah, because I said, why are you offering? And then it went weird because I said I'm a feminist and he didn't like me after that. Comedian Claire Harrison McCartney said Walliams was referring to her when he said off camera, she's a slightly boring girl you meet in the pub that thinks you want to fuck her but you don't. Am I? Actually, isn't it amazing how you make assumptions about people? Well, he's actually the misogynistic rich guy who thinks he's better than everyone else. So that's my assumption. Actually, after reading this, I'm probably right. But can I just tell you this? I'm not, all right, I might be boring. I am actually quite boring. Yeah, I am. And I'm going to admit that because I like my own company. I'm an introverted extrovert. And yeah, I do contemplate the universe. And, you know, being a yoga teacher, I do. I am quite boring. And then when I go out and sing in pubs and stuff and, you know, quite boring in the pub. Do you know why I'm boring? Because most of the time there are men in pubs and I'm on my own, either doing comedy or singing. And I spend my time trying not to attract men because I'm scared of being raped. I live in a council flat, right? And I've lived here 7 years. I've lived in social housing for 8 years. The first flat, I was targeted by men trying to get drugs into my bedsit and do that weird thing, is it cuckooing or something? I'm not up on stuff like that because I don't want to be. But the girl underneath me died. They did it to her. She moved in and they got her hooked on heroin and then used her bedsit as somewhere to drug deal. So I was scared of that. I only stayed there 9 months, thank God, because I did a swap. And then I hated that place because someone was murdered there and I didn't like it. So then I moved here. And the man next door to me, I fought with the police for years. The police know everything, the council know everything. He lives next door to me. When I moved in, he didn't know I was living here, but he was shouting out racist abuse, right? And I'm like ringing up the police going, this geezer's racist. What the hell's going on? He's saying some awful, awful racist abuse. I'm not going to repeat it. And I was like really upset by it and offended. We've got a lot of black families living here, do you know what I mean? I don't want them hearing it. It's awful. It's bad enough me hearing it. So I'm like, what's this? The police were doing nothing. Then I went and put the bins out. He saw me, that I was, because a man lived here before, saw that I was a woman, and then he just started shouting abuse at me. And he shouted, I'm going to rape and kill you. Now, I reported this and reported this and reported this and reported this to the police for years, and the police never listened to me. I'd done videos of it, put it on YouTube, they didn't listen to me. I went up to the stations, and then every time I reported it, a woman officer would leave. Why are the women officers leaving? Anyway, I had a bloke officer saying, just sort of laughing at me. I'm like, what? And my mental health spiralled and spiralled and spiralled and spiralled, and I do suffer from anxiety and depression. Anyway, I'm neurodiverse, right? That's quite deep. You have to come to one of my shows. I talk about it a bit. You know, I was that kid at school that ate crayons. I did do that. And my mum was like, what's she doing? She looked at my poo and it was all like colourful. And it was like, yep, she's on the spectrum. There's the clue. Yeah, so I was like, had ADHD and, you know, and I've had like brain injury. I've also, I broke my nose in martial arts and then I got epilepsy. I suffer from severe migraines. I'm not a norm, right? So all this is harder for me as well. So like the guy next door, finally, during lockdown, because he went insane, because he weren't working. He works. I don't know how he works. Who would employ him? He's a psycho. He looks like a druggie. Oh, I don't want to judge people. I'm sorry if you take drugs. Drugs are... That's just another subject, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, drugs are on like a bit of a hierarchy. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, we won't go there. You know what I mean. You know, like the real like heroin addicts. I don't want to even judge heroin addicts. It's awful. So Russell Brand was a heroin addict, and I adore Russell Brand. Don't meet your heroes though, especially not David Walliams. I used to love David Walliams before I actually met him or performed in front of him. Horrible, vile man now. Don't meet your heroes. I did meet Russell Brand though, and he was nice. He was a right laugh. He's proper down to earth. But then Russell, he come from working class background, so he's still got that humbleness, hasn't he? You know, about him. And he's spiritual. Where Walliams, he was brought up in Surrey. Money. And then he probably got put through drama school, where people like me have had to like beg, steal and borrow to do that. And then he's like, you know, he probably hasn't ever had to crowdfund to do an Edinburgh Fringe show or not eat to do an Edinburgh Fringe show, he's quite blessed, isn't he? And he does gentlemen's clubs where he orders the girls to be scantily clad. That's a weird terminology. Scantily clad. Yeah, that's like where he ordered the women not to wear, you know, all right, it keeps riding down. You know, like if I had to be like, take this jacket off, I wouldn't do it because I'm old now. But like, I'd never do it anyway, thank you very much. But, you know, he'd want them all in their underwear, basically, in lingerie. Misogynistic. Right, so I'm on this. Anyway, yeah, I've had a bad time where I live, and it hasn't been nice. So, and I'm still living here, and the council won't move me. It's all a bit rubbish, to be honest. So I spend my time not wanting male attention, if you know what I mean. So, but then I should still be allowed to dress feminine. We shouldn't have to wear a burqa. I mean, I speak to a lot of really lovely Muslim women, and I'm like, well, why do you wear the burqa? And they went, because of men. And I'm like, I completely understand you. I get it. Because sometimes you think, well, actually, I might just cover myself up because of men. So the last thing on my mind is, oh, I'm going to walk into this pub and all the men are going to want to shag me. Yeah. Ugh. Have you seen the men? You're joking, mate. And David Walliams, I've never fancied him, ever. You know, like, Russell Brand, yeah, he's good looking, isn't he? He's got that oomph, je ne sais quoi, like charisma. David Walliams, never fancied him. Nah, I've always looked at him and thought, funny bloke, right? A little bit out there, like that. Funny, theatrical, clowning. He's clowning. He don't do stand-up, does he? That's probably why they don't want a lot of stand-ups on there. Oh yeah, they had that one stand-up, didn't they? Was it last year? But the bloke, get the fucking bloke to it. Oh, sorry, I swore. Get the bloke to win all the time. Yeah, she had cerebral palsy. She was good, wasn't she? They actually had a female. I was like, yes. Thank God for that. They finally let us in. Okay. The slightly boring girl you meet in the pub that thinks you want to fuck him, but you don't. So that's how he perceives me. I don't like that at all. And do you know what? I did actually examine myself. Not like that. No, I did examine myself after that and think, oh my God, do I give that energy out? Do I actually give that energy out to men? And I really started worrying about it, thinking, do I? I don't like that at all, because I don't think I do, and I honestly don't, because I don't want that. And I'll tell you what, if I fancy a man, they know about it, and it's quite rare that I ever do, if you know what I mean. It takes a lot. Anyway, yeah, I don't really fancy a lot of men. It's weird. You know Adam Zindani from Stereophonics? I think he's gorgeous. That's like the only crush I've really got at the moment. Anyway, she said, Judge Williams asked her if she's single or married on the show. Yeah, we just spoke about that. Claire tweeted, this comment was about me when I auditioned for BNT. It's disgusting. Yeah, I did. Right. Yeah, okay. Now, Williams has apologised for disrespectful comments about contestants in private conversations. Right. Said, I don't accept the apology, I don't particularly. And I'm also on the same page as Shave Shame from the Jungle. Shave Shame. And yeah, the weird thing is, I do stuff in my stand-up about gentlemen's washes in the sinks. Right. So I got some notes here. But like the weird thing is Williams has contradicted himself, because he said, I don't fancy her, but I had a boner. Okay, so why would you have a boner on a family show, on a children's show, under the judge's desk? But now it's shriveled up inside my body. Yes, David, make it stay there, because you sound scary to me and dangerous. The kind of man going round thinking women fancy you. Who the hell do you think you are? No, I don't. I don't fancy you, and I never have. Where did you get that from? Right, so the Daily Mirror, oh my God, I've been talking for half an hour now. The Daily Mirror have said in their article that I deleted my tweets about it all. I haven't, by the way. I never did. I never ever did. I have all my tweets there. They're all there. If you go onto my Twitter, my tweets are protected at the moment. Sometimes I unprotect them. It all depends how I feel. I protected my tweets, right? Because I got a bit of trolling. It doesn't bother me, to be honest, so trolling. I just have a row back with them, silly old sods, right? But yeah, they're still there. There's Daily Star, my tweets are still there. So get your facts right, alright? Okay, these are some of my notes. BGT, since I come out, so actually, the Daily Star, I never got paid for that, sadly, right? But they never interviewed me. They just went through my Twitter and, you know, found all that evidence is still there. It's still there, Daily Star. I don't know why you're saying it's not there. It's still there on my Twitter. Why are you lying? Right, BGT denied that it was about me. Okay, think about it. They're gonna deny it anyway. Of course they're gonna deny it, because they could have a lawsuit on their hands. They're crapping themselves because it's slander and defamation of character, implying that I think all men want to shag me. Hello? No, I don't. Not when I'm scared all the time, walking around London after gigs, walking up the stairs to my flats because the guy next door is threatening to rape and kill me. Hello? I spend my time thinking, have I got to fight someone? Oh my God, what's wrong with you? It says more about him than me, like why he would perceive somebody like that. Right, okay, so you've got to think about the crew, right? Who's he pissed off in that crew recently, right? Because this was 3 years ago in January. This was in January 2020, right? And in the original article, it said an unsuccessful female contestant. We're going to go through all the contestants soon as well, right? Just as evidence. So BGT have denied it. Now, he apologised. So David Walliams has apologised. And if somebody asked me to apologise and said, right, you've done this, now apologise. If I'd done it, I'd go, all right then, I apologise. But if I hadn't done it, I'd be like going, no, I didn't do that. You're having a laugh. I'm going to stick up for myself, right? So the fact he knows he said it, all the evidence is there. He knows he said it, so he's apologised. There's no way out for him, really, because he's done it and he said it. But the transcript has been leaked to The Guardian. Someone's got paid a lot of money for this, and they've kept it. Why have they kept it for 3 years? Someone said it's because all their contracts. Anyway, yeah, I was told it was about me, and now they're saying it's not about me. Right, okay. So me and a few journalists tried to get the transcript as evidence, and they wouldn't give it to me. The Guardian have got it, they wouldn't give it to me. Also, I love this bit of juicy goss. I spoke to a publicist, yeah. What are they called? Bloody hell. I don't know what they're called. Publicists. I thought they were all just journalists. Anyway, he goes, oh, I'm a publicist. Very posh, right? And he told me, he goes, there's more. There's more coming. There's more about David Walliams. There's going to be more. So watch this space, you know, like they've got that on him, that he called an older contestant a swear word, and he's implied that about me when most of the time I'm scared of being raped. Why would I be thinking that about men? Why? Why? Now I'm like thinking, questioning myself, if you know what I mean, like, what vibe do I send out? That's not good. But it says more about him than me, because that's just a projection of what he thinks. Okay, right. Yeah, so he'd have never have said that about a man. Like, look at John Courtney. He would never have said that. Oh, look at John Courtney. He thinks he's the kind of bloke that walks into the pub and thinks everyone wants to shag him. Why'd he say that about me? What's wrong with him? It's because I said I was a feminist, probably, and he thought, ugh, boring. Yeah, we are a bit boring. Sorry about that. No, I'm not sorry about that. I'll stand my ground. See you later. Yeah, and okay, these are all my notes. Okay, right, yeah, I'm just worried that I'm subconsciously sending that energy out to men. I don't know. But then, I don't know, why is he bringing sex into it? Why? That says more about him, and the fact he said I had a boner. It ain't right. He just saw me as a sexual object and not a comedian. That's sad, isn't it? That you've got to cut your hair off and put on weight like Joe Brand did to try and get successful. You shouldn't have to. You really shouldn't have to. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, sorry. I'm just reading my notes now. I think I've covered it because I can talk rubbish for ages, 37 minutes. Yeah, I never fancied David Walliams. I never have. But that publicist, he said there's more to come. Juicy gossip. Right, so let's look at the women who he could have referred to, because people were saying to me, oh, no, it's not about you. Well, who's it about then? Who is it about? Come on, give me the name. And they won't, right? They all know he said it about me because I had a bit of banter with banter. So Essex. I had a bit of a laugh with him at the beginning because he asked me if I was single, right? And then he just hated me. Maybe, I don't know, because I told him I was a feminist. He don't like strong women. Look at his past record. Who's that girl? Yeah, exactly. Who is she? The one who was put in the trunk of a car. She was a model or something. She's quite young. Chloe Ayling. She done Big Brother. So he approaches women like that, right? Sorry, I'm being judgmental now. I don't mean like that. I mean women who... Be careful, Claire. Be careful. Be careful how you say this. Be careful. Women who project... Well, they exploit themselves, don't they? That's what they do. They get their bodies out in photo. I'm going on like this now. Where's my freaking... I lived in India for a little while. I feel like getting my dupatta out and putting it around me. Yeah, because now I'm paranoid that I'm giving that vibe out, and I'm not. So yeah, he attracts people like Chloe Ayling. He had 17-year-old girls in his green room. Anyway, so let's look at some of the women it could have been. I really hope it isn't these two. This is disgraceful. Faith, I feel, she was very young. She got a golden buzzer. It's not about her. It can't be. She's a child. So was Suparika Nair. She was performing, singing. Shouldn't be about her. I hope not. She's severely underage. Beth Porch. I love Beth Porch. She was a nurse. She sang her own song. Do you remember, with a guitar? I loved her. Is it about her? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it is about her. The Coven. Maybe it's about the coven. Maybe he just thinks all women want to shag him. Like, there was about 20 dancers in there, weren't there? Lily Davis, I doubt it. Myra Dubois. I think it was about Myra Dubois, wasn't it? Of course it was about Myra. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then Olena, she's lovely, wasn't she? The Russian lady. She done that horse sound. Yeah, and I don't imagine she. Nah, I don't get that. I don't think he would say that about her, because she was quite dainty, and she's the kind of woman that he would probably want to overpower, because he knows he can't overpower me, because I'm giving it. I gave it back to him, and he just had to say something shitty to put me down, because he felt threatened by my feminine strength. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, but there you go. Serene, she was too young. Sandra May Flowers, she was 58. She done La 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 song. Do you remember? It's a bit weird with the puppets. I don't think it's about her. Sia, don't know. Belinda Davids, she sang Whitney. Nah. Diana, the Russian Dog Act. Maybe he thought the dog fancied him. Probably all he could get. Just stick your leg out, David, you know, under your chair with your boner. Do what you got to do, mate. Do you know what I mean? You ain't my mate, by the way. I've got the ump. Right. So that's my story, and that's it. So watch this space, because the publicist said there's more to come. And you know what? When someone's been horrible to you, you've waited 3 years, karma is a bit of a bitch. And I thought, well, you can't hide anything these days. You're mic'd up. I know this. I did reality TV 16 years ago for Discovery Channel. I was mic'd up for 10 days, right? Doing some kind of silly show. And they hear everything. Like Ring doorbells. They hear and see everything. We live in Big Brother 1984 now. You can't get away with anything. The veil is thin, and you will be found out for being a misogynist. You will be found out for being a homophobe. You'll be found out for being a racist. You'll be found out with everything. They know everything about you. But when you're at work, right, you should be professional, especially on a family show. Swearing for a start. I know I've sworn on here, but I wouldn't ever do it on a family show. And I really did hold my grace and integrity on Britain's Got Talent, because I could, when I heard him saying that about me, mumbling, and I knew it, and he said, oh, and I felt like saying, you want me to fuck off? You come here. Because I'm a bit, did I, right? I'm street kids. I'm not like from Surrey. And, yeah. Karma will come and get you in the end. Be professional with your mic on, right? And don't be slagging off contestants, because we go on there because we've got nothing. We want that fame and fortune. We want that a door to open, you know, and maybe become a presenter or expand our comedy, or I don't know, what people from Britain's Got Talent have done really well, I don't know. I think it's just a show to exploit people. It reminds me of old Roman times, like in a Colosseum, when they all sat up on their chairs, darling, and they thought that they were better than everybody else. Yes, like that. And the peasants are now coming in. Look at the peasants. Look at the peasant in the red dress. She's from Harlow in Essex. Disgusting. She thinks everybody wants to shag her. That's the vibe I'm getting off her. I've got a boner now, but it's gone back up into me. I'm going to write a book about her now called Mrs. She's never married, and that's worrying me. I don't like her because she's never married or had children and she's single. So I'm going to write a book about her called Miss Unfuckable. And the shriveled boner under the judge's desk. And I'm going to sell it to children because I'm a judge on a family show. And I swear at pensioner contestants who just want to come on here for a bit of fun and maybe expand their career or get somewhere in the entertainment or showbiz industry, and then I'm going to just completely misogynistically slate a woman for being a comedian. But we're not going to let her be a stand-up, no, because she might say something that could expose the fact there are loads of misogynists working on Britain's Got Talent. And we don't want women to win. We never want to, unless you're a dog act. Bring a dog act on. They don't want women to win, especially funny women. Never funny. Never stand-ups. They don't want that. They don't want female stand-ups to win. No, because then it will show that women are funny, and we just want to see them as sexual objects. We think that some of them walk into the room in the pub and think, I'm just so fuckable. Well, we don't. We're scared of men like you. We're scared of being raped by men like you. So, next time a working class woman walks on your stage, appearing maybe a bit desperate for the showbiz doors to open, be compassionate to her and have the ability for empathy. But narcissists don't have empathy, do they? No, narcissists don't have that ability to stand in somebody else's shoes. Especially not the gold glittery shoes that I wore. But apparently I fell over in, according to the lad at the chip shop. And I really didn't. He was just an absolute arsehole. Because I was low and he wanted to make me feel lower. And there are people like that. And that's what Britain's Got Talent can do to you. So be careful. And that's what Walliams wanted to do. And I just don't get why 3 years later this has appeared in the paper, when it could have appeared straight after, because they got that transcript with all that evidence on. And I wouldn't touch him if I won him in a raffle. I never, ever, ever have fancied David Walliams, ever. So I don't get his contradiction. She's boring, but she thinks everyone wants to fuck her. Okay, so do boring girls think that? Actually, maybe he's into a bit of S&M. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, I ain't judging you. I don't fancy an orange in my mouth, do you know what I mean? I'm not into any of that, I'm a yogi. It's a very strange, what's it saying about his psyche and his psychological state when he feels that he has to belittle contestants? You're at work. Oh, that was a conversation that should never have been shared. Well, have that conversation between friends, off air, in your dressing rooms. Not there, not on the stage, not right by the stage. I could hear you telling me to F off and then mumbling stuff about me. But apparently